Hello and welcome inside episode 19 of the Scully Scoop podcast. I'm your host, Adam Scully. NHL, NBA, MLB, all just around the corner. The PGA Tour's been back for a couple weeks with a major championship just around the corner. And that's where we're going with this week's guest. We're going to be going one-on-one with PGA Tour swing coach Ralph Bauer. His clients include Canadian Adam Hadwin, Jonathan Vegas, Kyle Stanley, JJ Spaun, Brandon Harkins, and fellow Canadian Adam Svensson. We're going to talk all about the golf swing, how to get better, and what it's been like on the PGA Tour during the restart. Let's go to the interview now with PGA Tour swing coach Ralph Bauer. And we're pleased to be joined by PGA Tour swing coach Ralph Bauer. His clients include Canadian Adam Hadwin, Jonathan Vegas, Kyle Stanley, JJ Spaun, Brandon Harkins, fellow Canadian Adam Svensson. Ralph, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Adam, thanks for having me on, buddy.
It's good to see you, my friend. You've just spent 15 nights on the road, 5-0. First quarantine for 14 days, then on the road on the PGA Tour, coaching guys. And now you're in quarantine again back home in Canada. What's this whole experience been like for you?
Yeah, it's been fun, right? I'm lucky. I'm a bit of a loner, so it works out well for me. But no, it was interesting for sure. This is my third quarantine now, so kind of getting the hang of it. Time flies when you're trapped in your house, I guess. But no, it's all good. Just lucky to, I had a good time out there. I got to spend 50 days with the guys, which was fun. And, got to see up close, just got to see a little bit more golf than normal, but it's great.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're taking it on a positive side of things. I'm guessing you've crushed through a bunch of Netflix. Is there a favorite series or episode or of anything that you've seen during your states in quarantine?
It was, I'll be honest with you, it was a little challenging mentally, the whole thing, right? Because, I went 50 nights having dinner by myself in a hotel room, and stuff. So I felt like the only thing that kept me sane was, I'd just try to find a hotel, with a fridge and a stove on the first floor near a running trail. And I would just crush runs, whenever I had the chance, 4 a.m, whenever I could, so that was my go-to, stress reliever for sure.
Right on. Now, I've seen these COVID tests done, some videos, some guys have released videos. I'm assuming you've had multiple done. Just how awkward is the feeling of the stuff up your nose?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something you're accustomed to, obviously, but you're doing it for, I mean, it's not fun, but it's not great.
it is what it is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. Well, so you're on the road for the first few PGA Tour events, working with many players, including, as I said, mentioned, Canadian Adam Hadwin. Take us through a day in the life for you during, let's say, a Tuesday during this PGA Tour restart.
So Tuesdays are pretty busy days for me, right? Guys tend to get all their practicing, all their technical work out of the way before, by the time Tuesday's over with and have a game plan for the rest of the week. So Tuesdays are a busy day for me. Be nice to squeeze in a run in the dark, get the golf course kind of first light, the guys will kind of text me, what their plans are for the day. So I have time the night before to hopefully plan things out. And, Monday's kind of a day to get the game plan going. Tuesdays, you finalize it, I like to watch them play. I like to watch them, practice. Right, if there's certain holes we're concerned with, go out and watch them on those holes. Right, if there's any technology that we need to use that week, Tuesday would be the day we kind of would pull that out and then put it away and make sure that, like I said, you want a Tuesday night as a coach. I want to make sure that we've got a game plan, dialed in for the week for the golf course for sure. So it's a big day, and the guys tend to get a lot of practicing on Tuesday. Since the restart, there's no pro-ams on Wednesday. So they can kind of treat it like a major where they can kind of play 9 holes every day, and kind of go about on their own timetable instead of being forced into something by the Pro-Am on the Wednesday.
Right on, right on. Now, as we are recording this, you're on day 9 of your 14-day quarantine since coming back from the PGA Tour 50 nights on the road. You posted a video on Twitter doing some sort of juggling and a plank, and it looked pretty difficult. What's the next exercise going to be? Are you going to be on your head doing handstands or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously pretty bored to post that. I actually saw it on Team Canada's feed, and they were getting their athletes to do it, and it didn't look that hard, so I thought I'd try it. But no, just trying to, I do feel that as a coach that, it's not really fair if I ask players to do things that I don't do myself, right? So, I try to, I try to eat well and, get sleep well and work out and do all those, things that I'm asking them to do. I don't think it's really fair if, or comes from a place of sincerity if I'm asking them to do things that I'm not willing to do for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily have to do the juggling and the plank thing, but
Yeah, I feel like I'll be trying that and falling on my face and breaking my front
we'll do it, no
row.
problem.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned you coach a number of guys on the PGA Tour, including Canadian Adam Hadwin. How did you guys initially meet?
That's a good question. So I've been coaching full-time the PGA Tour for about 12 years now. Mm-hmm. All the Canadians tend to know each other and hang out. I started working with David Hearn in 2009. Right. And, they would all the Canadians play practice rounds together. And before that, I started working with Nick. Before Adam, I started working with Nick Taylor. So I'd working with Nick for about a year. Nick and Adam are pretty tight, grew up together, pretty tight. Nick, in that year that I worked with him, got a little bit better, right? I guess Adam noticed that. I was with them for practice rounds anyways, so it's just kind of gradually worked out that, he started asking me for advice. I started giving him advice, and then, kind of more formal coaching role about 5 years ago.
There you go. So what would you say are some of the major strengths of Hadwin's game?
So, Adam's above average in everything, which is a nice place to be in.
Yeah.
Right. He's just really good. He's got a beautiful golf swing, right? He works it both ways. I would say the difference between somebody like himself and somebody who's, maybe not quite at that level would be that Adam's got, control of his ball almost every day, where he's got, he's got a fade, he's got a draw, and he's got a flighted shot almost every day. So it's just makes it a lot easier to go through a round of golf if you can hit all the shots and not just have one shot that you're hoping will work out that day, right? So I would say his biggest strength would be he's got a bunch of them, but great imagination, and he's certainly got, almost nobody's perfect, but he's got control of his golf ball almost every day, which is a nice spot to be in.
It certainly is a great spot to be in, having total control of your golf ball every day.
Total control. We don't have that yet, but he definitely shows up the golf course every day with a faded draw and a flighted shot, which is great.
Yeah, he's got a lot of the shots. And one thing I've noticed in his pre-shot routine is that sort of rehearsal waggle. Just how important is that for maybe a guy like Hadwin or other players trying to incorporate some sort of feeling to get that feeling of where you want the club to be in a rehearsal moments before you hit the ball?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think, it seems like all the Canadians do that, and it's all, they grew up watching Weirzy too, right? So, it's easy to see why they're doing that. But I think it's important. I think you use a good word there. You use the word rehearsal rather than, I like to use that instead of practice swing. Like, I feel if we looked at things as a rehearsal, we're more likely to do it, and we're more likely to do a good job with it as opposed to, just kind of going through the motions with that. Adam will tend to use that rehearsal as a bit of his technical work, where he'll find that if he does a great job with his rehearsal, it'll creep its way into a swing, and he'll be in a good spot that way. So I think it's a good idea for anybody, and we're great for Weirzy. He still does it. Yeah, won the Masters. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's right. That's for sure. Now, Hadwin is one of 4 Canadians in the top 100 in the world right now. Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes, Nick Taylor, the other 3. Why do you think we're seeing so much success right now by Canadians on the world stage?
Well, I mean, short answer is all 4 of those guys are really good, right? But I think it's a long time coming. I mean, the developmental we've got, maybe the best developmental program in the world. In Canada, which is great, which doesn't make it foolproof that we're getting 4 players up there, but it helps. Canadians love golf.
Yeah.
Right. All 4 of those players, played other sports growing up, and are pretty good athletes, and got to play golf in the summertime, had, golf courses that supported them, coaches that supported them, provincial associations that supported them. They all went to school in the States. They all got, they all had good coaches in the collegiate system. Just kind of accumulation of things. But, I think Canada's definitely on the right track for sure with the development program. And, just hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, we're on a great track right now. Canadian golf is in a very good spot. So how much communication do you have with Hadwin, let's say, on a tournament week? Like, let's say he goes out and shoots 68 in the first round and then, 70 in the second round, sort of 2 pretty good rounds. Are you guys in communication after every round, or how does that work?
So, I mean, if I'm there, obviously, if typically I don't communicate a lot to my players during the week.
Right.
I feel like if they play great, they should know they played great. And if they didn't play well, then they probably should know that too. And I kind of leave it up to them to, if they have any questions. I follow it super closely though. I'm a big numbers guy. I've got I spend a lot of time. Some of those golf courses I've been to 12 times. Some of those golf courses I've walked 50 times, right? And analyzed every pin location, every hole location, everything. So typically, if somebody doesn't have a great round of golf, it's, at that level, it's going to be a certain wind that got them. Like, maybe it's a left to right wind into a left pin that they didn't play very well 3 times during the round. So I might have a quick reminder on how to play that shot to them, but it's not going to be anything major for sure.
Interesting. So you've mentioned you've spent 12 years now as a coach on the PGA Tour. How much have you changed or evolved your coaching in the 12 years you've been on the circuit? Yeah,
so I'm lucky. I haven't had to undergo through like a major metamorphosis or anything like that. I've always kind of thought that, fundamentals were important, good practice habits were important, good athletic behaviors were important. And I mean, I've learned, I feel like some days I come back and I just can't believe how much I learned that day. Right. But, so it's a constant, I'm lucky I get to learn. The more players you work with, it seems like the more you learn from them. Right. So it's just kind of learning these little things that you can kind of put in the data bank, and, you might not need them for a few years. You might never need them, but, it's just nice to have them. And there's just so many experiences. Like, I've been lucky. I've coached all the majors, the World Cup, President's Cup, and there's just a lot of things that come up that, it seems like you might never need, but hopefully you remember at the right time when you do need it.
You mentioned a lot of great events there. I believe you're at the Olympics as well back in.
Yeah, probably Olympics. Yeah.
In 2016, was there any, or what has been maybe your number one sort of pinch me moment to think like, holy crap, look where I am right now. This is amazing.
I mean, the Olympics was cool for sure. I caddied in the Olympics. That was definitely cool. As a caddy, for some reason they consider us athletes, and we got to live in the village. So I got to live in the village for 8 days. As a coach, getting to spend 8 days in kind of the ultimate high performance environment was, amazing. To get to see how the Chinese coaches are talking to their athletes, and how it was just an amazing experience to coach. Turns out we teed off early on the first day, so we were on the main Olympic feed. And I didn't know that at the time, or I might have been nervous, but my kids happened to, have the TV on the background and heard my voice. So that was kind of cool. But no, I think the Olympics is pretty cool for sure. The World Cup was neat. I had a player on the American team and a player on the Canadian team in the last World Cup, which was cool. Because it's only a 2-minute team, so that was kind of fun. So that was in Australia, and I brought my golf clubs and got to play Royal Melbourne. So, that was fun.
Well, I mean, the entire world got to see Royal Melbourne this past December. What was it like playing a golf course like that? That's just so well known worldwide. Yeah,
I mean, Royal Melbourne's unreal. The first hole I hit a decent. I don't remember the first hole. I was playing. I hit a decent lob wedge, and the guy in my group was laughing at me, and I got a 40-yard shot back to the hole. So it was fun for sure. I kind of went down because I was hoping somebody would make the President's Cup the following year too, because I wanted to play it. Well, plus I wanted to play it, and so I haven't got to play it, so it's good helping him get ready for that. I kind of had some insight into the golf course.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so obviously you coach a bunch of guys on the PGA Tour, but how about yourself as a player? How much do you get out, and what kind of scores are you firing out there when you're playing well? Yeah,
well, I only play with my, by myself or with my kids. So I play quite a bit, play 9 holes when I play 9 holes a lot. Mm-hmm. I love golf. I grew up loving golf. Nothing's changed with that. It's just fun. Just a fun way to spend time outdoors with your friends and family, So in terms of scores, I don't know. I'm a decent golfer, so I don't know. Like I'd be pretty comfortable being 0 handicap, I guess. But it's just fun. Like I went to school in golf scholarship in the States and did all that stuff. But
right.
They say that those who can't do teach. So I feel comfortable putting myself in that category.
Well, I think a little later we'll negotiate the strokes for our match here coming up a little bit. But in golf right now, one of the hot topics is chasing distance. Players trying to hit the ball a little longer. Obviously, the poster boy for this is Bryson DeChambeau, who's taken things to a whole other level in his diet, what he's eating, what he's doing in the gym. You've seen this guy up close, the incredible bulk. What do you think of all the work he's put into his game?
Well, I mean, he's certainly had good results, since the break. It's been, remarkable. How sustainable that is, it would be the next question. Doesn't seem sustainable, looking from the outside looking in, but I mean, you never know. But doesn't seem like something that would be a great long-term strategy in terms of having, an extended athletic career on the PGA Tour, right? Like if you think about somebody that's, competing in senior majors and things like that, you just don't see them eating like that. You don't see a lot of healthy people eating like that, to be honest with you. Yeah. Right? That's, I mean, all credit to him. I mean, we ran into Rory's caddy after the first event, and he's like, you can't believe how long he is. He's like 40 yards past us, right? And which is crazy because Rory's like a joke how long he is, right? So, no, it's great that he's doing that. I mean, he's got a neat little vibe going, and I mean, he's killing it for sure. But I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's all part of the home studio setup here. We got dogs barking. I was on the radio once, and my dog was barking at me because she wanted some food. It's funny how it works, but it's all good. No more before I let you go here, Ralph. Let's say you're a 2 handicap like myself, or a 20 handicap. What are some of the major keys that you tell people on how to hit the ball a little longer? Are there a couple, 1 or 2 little tidbits that someone listening, whether they're a 2 or a 20, can implement into their game?
That's a good question. I would say that, I think a good golf swing goes straighter and it goes further. So I think that if we have, good alignment, good ball position, good posture, and we've stretched before we go to play, we did, spend 5 minutes stretching before we go to play, we'll hit the ball long and straight, for us, right? I feel like most people first of all, don't warm up. Don't stretch. Don't have it's not like you have to go crazy. I've got a nice little 5-minute routine that I do, right? And it's shocking when people come for lessons and they go through that 5-minute routine, how much better they are, right? But I'd say that if that's the way to answer your question, that's how I do it. Warm up, good ball position, good alignment, good posture, and go ahead and rip at it.
Yeah, I'd say the average player, listening to this would probably do the old trunk slam and just go out and swing as hard as they can. And that just doesn't work. You got to get your body activated, which is so crucial. Now, you've been on tour for a very long time. When you're walking on the range, when you hear some guys hit the ball, who are some of the guys that you have to, sort of double take and think, hey, was that Tiger? Was that Henrik Stenson? Who are the guys that, hit it, let's say, the most flush on the range?
Yeah, I mean, Stenson's a good one. I mean, McIlroy, obviously.
Yeah.
Adam Scott, Tiger. Those ones jump out. I mean, Tiger and Adam Scott sound different in a bunker. I mean, it's weird, right? But Stenson for sure. Justin Rose, flushes it. It's kind of weird. It does sound a little different. They just hit the middle of the club face every single time. And, probably be a good way to go through life. I don't know, but, it must be.
It's got to be. I have no idea what it's like, but it's got to be a pretty good thing. Now, Ralph, you're on day 9 right now of quarantine. PGA Tour schedule is pretty busy here coming up. When do you see yourself back on the grounds on the tour?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely coming back for the playoffs. Looking forward to that for sure. Just it's hard with travel, and I mean, you can't get health insurance for COVID. Yeah. In the States, I can't see myself getting on a plane to go to the PGA, unfortunately. This last trip I took, I drove the whole thing, so that was kind of cool. I think I went to I was in 30 states, right? I won, some of them multiple times, but it was a bit of a hike. The playoffs kind of line up. I don't know. I'd probably win them week before and then go to the playoffs. Maybe come back for 2 weeks quarantine and come back for the U.S. Open. Drive down for that. After that, I don't even know if they have a schedule, to be honest with you. It's not like it's written in stone. So it's all good.
Oh, well, it's been quite a journey for you here. Before we let you go, I have to ask you about these online lessons that you've been giving. I was looking on your Twitter page. How can someone listening or watching get more information and get an online lesson from you?
Yeah, thanks. So I started doing that. It's been actually a lot of fun. And, it's a bit of a learning curve, but I got a cool little process going with that now. I've got some Corn Ferry players that signed up for it. And I've got people that just want to get better at golf, which has been fun, right? So the whole thing's been neat. I guess the easiest way I've on Instagram and Twitter. If someone wants to send me a DM, I could send some information on it. But it's been a lot of fun. I like it. And like I said, it was a bit of a learning curve getting the formula down right with how to help people. But I feel like it's going pretty well for sure.
Good for you. I've taken lessons for the first time in about 7 years this year, and my game's gone from a 6 to I'm a 2 now. So you might have to have your DMs open. You might see a message from me here shortly. Ralph, really appreciate your time today. All the best you're going forward, and looking forward to seeing you back on tour in a couple weeks.
Adam, thank you very much, buddy.
Have you seen anything like that?
Really appreciate Ralph's time on the Scully Scoop podcast. Some great stories, including spending time in the Olympic Village back in 2016. Not many people can say they've done that. Well, now 19 episodes in the books on the Scully Scoop podcast. Don't forget, subscribe to us on iTunes and on YouTube. I'll continue to promote these episodes on Instagram and on my personal Twitter account, Adam_Scully. This has been another fun edition of the Scully Scoop podcast, and we'll talk to you next time.